Hello, welcome to another episode of HOSC CRM Development. So we're continuing to build our knowledge up on the CRM 2013 and I'm building up the foundation knowledge. So coming on through people who come from CRM 2011 and perhaps people who have used CRM 2013 but not very much. So before we start developing and doing plugins and JavaScript and other such things, I just want to get down the kind of fundamental pieces of information and knowledge and the differences between CRM 2011, and then later on we shall start actually doing some development. So this, the CRM SDK, which is a vital document, it's got all the things really you need to know about developing CRM 2013. It's got a what's new for developers. So this isn't the navigation or front end. I've covered that in a previous video, which you can go back and see. But this is what's new for developers. And I'm just going to have a quick run through this, just so you know what's new things to play with. Right, entity images. There's a new functionality where now you can click it on to an entity, but once you do, you can never unclick it. It's one of those kind of queue type things, so you can never go back, but it's not really a biggie, this one. Basically now there's a kind of default way to include an image for an entity. This is good because before you used to have to do some kind of horrible customization where you store a picture in the annotations, in the notes file attached, and then kind of show that at the top of the contact form or something. Now this is really useful for contacts, maybe logos. I mean, it's quite a good bit of basic functionality to have in there. So basically now it's a lot easier to put entity images for an entity. Just one though, only one per record. Access teams. This is a new kind of piece of functionality. I don't quite understand how it works, when to use it yet. Basically, you can have, this is another thing actually, when you turn it on, you cannot turn it off again. So at least think twice before you put it in. This one allows you to, you have access teams, and you can have a sort of subgrid on a record, and then you can copy people into there, and then they will be able to access that record. It's a kind of ad hoc security functionality that just allows you to kind of quickly share it to a team of people and then quickly whip it away. It seems sort of useful. I'm not quite sure what the sort of context of when you need to use that yet. I'm sure time will enlighten me. Business process flows. These are those kind of flows of information. If you take like we'll say the sales process, you go from lead to opportunity and then push it forward onwards like that. There's a sort of, you can have a flow of information where you can say you must fill in these parts of these pieces of information, and then you can go to stage 2 and then stage 3, and these stages can all be accessed through plugins and possibly JavaScript, so they are useful in a way. There's another, these are all these kind of new functionality. Haven't quite got my head round yet when we'd use them, or how they sort of really fit in with things. Real-time workflows. This is a beauty. Basically now you can have a workflow, and at the moment in CRM 2011, workflows run just whenever they get scheduled. So you can have a workflow, you can have it triggered on the change of a field or an update or whatever, or, when it's created, records created, but it'll only get run when CRM chooses to run it, and you've got no guarantee if that's 1 second or 1 minute, and that's a kind of fundamental drawback with workflows. You wouldn't know when they were going to run, but now you've got real-time workflows where they're going to run straight away, very similar to a plugin. So this sort of allows consultants mainly to be able to sort of create plugin type code, basically the same functionality in workflows, but you can run it straight away. That's pretty good. Custom actions, these are pretty sexy. They basically plugins run on messages, either a create message or an assign or whatever, delete, update, lots of other millions of messages. And now you can create custom messages where you can run like a block of code. This is really powerful piece of functionality which I really need to sort of delve into to understand it a bit more and learn how to do it. So there will definitely be a future video on that. Mobile rich client development, yeah, they've updated to make you do mobile stuff a lot better. This is good. This is sort of the future, I guess, but I haven't seen too many people with tablets or mobile things really in the office. But maybe, next year, who knows? There was a time before no one had tablets. Data encryption. You can now encrypt the database and fields, so you can't see certain information. It's quite a useful tool to have in there, so we don't have to worry about it. Solution version compatibility changes. This means that you can, I think it means that you can actually install CRM 2011 solutions into CRM 2013, and here you can install older versions into newer. But before, basically, if you had a sort of roll up before and a different, say you had roll up 10 and you want to install it on roll up higher one, you couldn't do it before. But I think they've changed that slightly. Question mark on that one. Asynchronous solution import basically means if you import a solution, it runs asynchronously and it won't slow everything down. Nice. They've got rid of read optimized forms. Who would have known? Who knew they really put it in? Because no one used that at all. This one's quite a big one. Now, because there's autosave, it means the duplicate detection doesn't work for create or update of forms. I assume this is because of autosave, and because it's saving all the time, it can't check for duplicates. So this is a bit of a slight drawback, because if people put in more than one contact, loads of them, there's no way of stopping them. There is Jason Latimer, I think, has written a duplicate detection solution which basically offers similar functionality. So if you really want it back, you can get it there. It is quite useful to keeping your data in check. There's a new phone number formatting. This basically means if you have a phone number field in CRM, you can click on it and it will try and open Link or Skype to call that person automatically. There's some new JavaScript. So they've added a bunch of new JavaScript. This is one of the reasons why you want to check the SDK, and not also the updates for SDK, because they will tell you there's lots of juicy new functionality they put in. So they've added a new bunch of JavaScript things. Add custom filter. You can filter lookups now. I think it kicks off just before the sort of lookup is triggered, and then you can filter it. So I think basically this used to be done before by dynamically filter it. Really, it used to be done before in CRM 4 with some dodgy unsupported code, and you could add a sort of filter in now, but now you can really do it dynamically, which is a very useful piece of functionality. I think there's a save. There's functionality to stop CRM 2013 from saving every 30 seconds. If autosave, basically, you can turn that off. Get username, that's quite good. You've got the ID and then you have to look up the username. You've got to show time. Alert dialog. This one is good. Basically, they don't want you to do pop-ups anymore. They don't like it. So you've got this alert dialog, which puts a message at the top of the CRM 2013 and a kind of little warning message. And you've got a confirm dialog where they've got to click something as well. So they're useful things which we will definitely have to use, and I'll have to do a video on that because I think to be tablet friendly, you don't want pop-ups happening all over the shop. Right, so that is the new functionality. A quick brief overview of the new functionality put in CRM 2013. Thank you very much. And don't forget to look at my blog and go to the LinkedIn group to add any comments and suggestions for future episodes. Thank you.